Okay, wait. Don't run. I promise this isn't some sort of clickbait title or video just about video games. But I need to explain how this all started in the first place. First off, Horizon Zero Dawn is absolutely amazing. It's what I've spent most of August playing, and I need to go back and finish the Frozen Wilds. I truly enjoy this masterpiece and see why back in 2017, people loved this game. Now, there are some times they make you fight in the room the size of a New York studio apartment with some sort of murderous, fire-breathing version of Big Bird, but I'm nitpicking because the game is incredible and strikes the same feeling I had after finishing Breath of the Wild and Witcher 3. Everything from the multi-ton aggressive dogs to what the heck is that thing? Honestly, it's all the machines that are so cool, and it's not just the Jurassic Park vibes either. It's the lifelike nature of these creatures, how they move, how they have their own ecosystem and function much like real animals do. Yes, some of them do just patrol around, but some of them actually have other functions outside of just fighting you and walking in circles. I don't know about you, but the Ravagers are definitely the coolest ones. Let me know which ones are your favorites in the comments below if you played the game. At the end of this adventure, with the final strike made, all I found myself thinking about is how gosh darn cool some of these machines are. And that's what got me thinking. Is this level of robotic autonomy even possible? How close are we to having lifelike robots that respond in new and organic ways? Does this mean I can own a robot cat that doesn't die and hates me even more? Let's start with the fact that there are tons of autonomous projects that are super cool. There's everything from military surveillance jets to Formula One cars. So I guess before it gets complicated, let's define what autonomous even means. The reality is many people throw around the term autonomous like how people use the term natural flavoring. Put simply, autonomous robots are smart machines that do a task by themselves without direct human control. One of the simplest examples of autonomous robots is probably the Roomba you have in your house or seen on TV. It's a small robot that's capable of completing a pretty simple task, but it does it all by itself. Now you might be thinking the multi-million-dollar assembly lines that you see on TV are autonomous as well. But it turns out the Roomba actually is autonomous and those aren't. See, there is a difference between something being automated and something being autonomous. I know, English is hard, right? Those assembly machines are programmed to do the same thing over and over again, but cannot complete work with unprogrammed variables. For instance, if this machine were working on cars coming in one way and all of a sudden the car body comes in backwards, that machine is either not going to know what to do with it, or it's going to continue doing what it's programmed to do and possibly smash right into that car frame. On the other hand, a Roomba does respond to its environment and changes its response without human intervention. If I leave it in a room by itself, it will indeed vacuum wherever it can. And if I come back and change the room layout, let's say I move a chair or a table, it still does it without breaking a sweat. But I hear you saying, so what? A Roomba is autonomous, but it can't even move chairs or go downstairs, at least not willingly. So why don't we talk about something admittedly cooler? So to be considered autonomous, it needs to be able to perform a function without requiring user input. Another good example would be the self-driving tech in cars like Tesla and in the Robo Race League. Yes, these do require user input or oversight for safety reasons, but these systems are capable of handling themselves in the proper environment, though reliability is another question. Now, to be fair, I'm sure a Roomba does just fine in those model homes on TV, but I wouldn't expect it to survive long in one of those houses from hoarders. See, the reality is most of the autonomous work is aimed at manufacturing. As we enter a more demanding and convenience-driven world, these products make moving items around workspaces and factories easier and safer. For instance, this is Vector by Waypoint Robotics. It is an autonomous platform that can carry 600 pounds and is able to not only move fully autonomously and sideways, but can even charge itself at its charging station without you doing anything. But if you really want to level up the game here, enter Amazon's fulfillment robots. Yes, this is how you're able to get your packages so fast. These oversized skateboards are able to not only talk to each other, but even know how to operate in intersections with better road etiquette than humans do. Now, these guys don't actually grab your new unnecessary on sale item and put it in an oversized box for you. That's still a human's job. But they are responsible for helping make sure your box gets on the right delivery truck to head out to the worst delivery person near you. So yeah, autonomous robots are already here. But I hear you saying, hey Lumi, this is great and all, but what about me? I don't need to move 600 pounds of steel and my Roomba has already vacuumed my house 3 times this week. So how is any of this good to me? Well, the next sector is in healthcare. Whoa. No, we aren't there yet. And if only this robot could get my pizza rolls out the oven like he got her inhaler. Anyways, though we've gotten very good with personal assistants that can hold conversations and keep your lonely grandma that you never go see company, the reality is the sector is a little bit more complicated, at least with the patient side of things, you know, with the whole getting sued and stuff. Could you imagine someone suing the hospital because Wally told them to stretch and they threw out their back? Yeah, it's a little dicey, but maybe autonomous robots are ready to help us on the physician side of things. In fact, there are already robots like Tug by a company called Aethon. Tug is probably the world's fastest filing cabinet, but its main functions is to help doctors and nurses deliver supplies to rooms in a more consistent and timely manner. Everything from medications to lab samples to, I think that's chicken? Yeah, that's definitely chicken. Beef? Anyways, you got to admit this is pretty cool and it's already in use in several hospitals around the country. However, one can make the argument that this, Amazon, and Waypoint products are essentially the same. They all just move stuff around. Well, that's the point, right? Humans hate moving, so why not have something move around for you? So let's get back to the robot dogs. I started this video talking about autonomous robot animals, and one can make the argument that why are they even necessary? Well, for one, it could help us stop having to capture real animals and sticking them in zoos for our weekend entertainment. But there are some real world applications, for instance, but we'll get to that later. You may not realize this, but zoos and aquariums of the future could be a lot different, and hopefully you don't even notice. This is Edge Innovations, who has been working in what's called animatronics for years. One of their cooler projects is working on a lifelike dolphin. This type of work is huge because it means that we don't have to capture real marine life and can use robots to help us keep learning about our environment and keep us entertained at places like SeaWorld. One thing that people often forget is that though Shamu is cute, it's still a killer whale, and it's called a killer whale for a reason. I would know this since the last time I went to SeaWorld, a bird decided it was going to land in the water in the middle of a show, and let's just say Shamu had a great afternoon snack. Now, whether or not this dolphin today is truly autonomous is unclear, but the possibility of seeing something like this could be sooner than you think. This is even more important because of the recent restrictions on capturing and breeding animals around the world. So maybe someday soon, the next time you go see Shamu, you don't have to worry about a little birdie getting eaten. Now, what about flying through the air of a different kind? It's hard to have not heard of some of the issues we humans face due to our dwindling bee populations. But let me remind you of some of the facts about bees just in case. Honeybees are one of the most common types of bees and in turn are one of the biggest helpers with pollinating our food around the world. Bees support 80% of US crops and are even important in helping us feed our cattle. Unfortunately, due to climate change, use of certain pesticides, and the destruction of trees, the number of bees has been declining worldwide. Though many efforts are in progress to help against this, which you can learn how to do your own part down in the description, maybe there are other ways autonomous robots can help as well. Created by the WISP Institute at Harvard University, RoboBees are small micro robots that have a very promising future in helping us address the bee issue. As our ability to rely upon bees for upholding our food production falls, RoboBees could aid our bee population and farmers with pollination on a mass scale. RoboBees are about the size of a quarter and have wings that allow them to fly. Actually, the flight part is a fairly recent breakthrough, even though the concept of robotic flying insects has existed for over a decade. However, one of the shortcomings with these bees is that though they can fly, they can only do it for short distances because they have to be connected for power and control. The next hurdle is how to get these little guys to fly on their own with power, a brain, and the ability to communicate. There are also other challenges like how to get them to function as a swarm to pollinate entire fields. How capable are they at flying through random gusts of wind or possibly being attacked by birds or other animals? Though their overall practicality is debatable and their environmental impact is still in question, there is no denying that the potential for these little robots could be enormous, and maybe we need someone just like you to help us solve some of these issues. Now, I could go on and on about how cool these things are, but this video is getting long and that's not the point of it anyways. The point is, I started playing a video game and ended up learning about how bees are important for how we live and function every day. So the next time you get the random thought while cutting the grass or trying to find your missing AirPods, I hope you embrace the rabbit hole. I'm Lumi the Benchtop Gamer, and do me a favor, keep thinking.